Okay, I hit record and I'm going to start to get rolling here in a second. It takes just a moment.
Okay. Yeah, so I feel like the camera battery's gonna die, so I'm gonna have to swap it and then it'll go to that one.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. That will go.
He chases on hair.
This is Satan from the Corpsepaint Show, broadcasting from the bowels of one of the suburbs of Dallas, Texas. You're here with the band FRAYLE, and this is the Corpsepaint Show. Do you like my fancy intro?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
technology.
Welcome to Sean and Gwen from FRAYLE. And let me start, guys, by first apologizing to you because I know we connected a year ago online and I was emailing and trying to work out something. And I do a radio show also that I wanted to have you guys on. And at that time, it just didn't work out. And then COVID really kicked in. And so I'm glad I finally got you, to be able to talk one-on-one on this show. And I really do appreciate you guys being here and being on the Corpsepaint Show this Sunday. So
No worries at all. Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
welcome. And you're in Cleveland.
Yes,
Which
we are.
can we now call Cleveland the capital of witch metal?
That'd be great. Maybe.
That'd be great.
Yeah, maybe in a year. Maybe in a year or two.
Well, I know there's a lot of great bands that come out of Ohio, come out of Cleveland, and such. But when things open up, do you have clubs that welcome doom metal in Cleveland?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, at least we did. Who knows who's going to be left standing after everything opens back up again? But we've had. I think the clubs are very welcoming. I don't know if the people are so into it. I think Cleveland is really more of kind of a hard rock town as opposed to doom. So, but no, I mean, we have a couple, like the Grog Shop is one of the ones that we play regularly. We love it there. They're really nice to us. And
The West Side Bowl in
West Side
Youngstown,
Bowl.
which is about an hour away, but West Side Bowl is pretty great.
Is the Angora still open?
Agora, yeah, as far as I know, they're still open. They just did a big remodel in the big room and the small room, so I want to say that they're still.
And is that kind of like, I mean, is that somewhere you aspire to get back on stage too?
Well, Agora, like things are different now. Like Agora's got a big room, which is probably 2,000 people. So back in the day, national touring acts would come through, and then the clubs would put on locals with them. Now it seems like those packages are a little tighter. So if someone goes to House of Blues or Agora, usually it's you can't really get on there unless you know the band. Of course we'd love to be back there and play. I mean, anytime you play a big stage and there's side fills, that's awesome. I mean, the answer is yes, we'd love to.
And isn't Cleveland Agora the only one left in the nation now? It's the only one, I think.
As far as
there were other Agoras.
Previously there were other Agoras around the country.
Wow, I know there was one in Akron back in the 80s, but I didn't know that there was others around. That's actually news to me, and I'm shocked that I didn't know that.
That's all right. So what is the weather like now? And are you able to go anywhere, or are there still a lot of restrictions in your part of Ohio?
The weather is okay. I mean, it's still like 30 degrees, so it's not great. It's not horrible. Restrictions are easing slightly. However, I mean, it's still not open like I think it is in Texas. Is opening up pretty rapidly from what I understand. We have not followed that. Ohio is still, kind of keeping it closed, but I know that even we were talking to our label in New York and they were opening up shows to like 150 people, and but I haven't heard anything like that around here. Have you?
No, nothing. No, I mean, there's like table shows with a lot of distance and stuff like that, but no standing room, and so we're I think Ohio's more on the cautious side of things.
You told me your cat's name is Uriel, so if Uriel shows up, we want to see Uriel. Okay.
We'll bring him up. Yeah, I don't know where he's at.
Definitely.
Oh, there he
There
is.
he's sleeping.
Yeah.
Now, so I get the impression from reading kind of some of the other interviews that that Sean is in the basement all the time, just trying to create all of these tracks and then layer the tracks and then put some more atmosphere in there. And you're the mad scientist, the wizard down in the basement.
Well, it's actually the third floor of the house.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm in the studio like between 2 and 6 hours a day, working on usually, music stuff. And then the other part of the day, I'm lobbying Gwyn Strang to get up there and sing.
So, and Gwyn, look, I mean this with a full compliment, but sometimes I feel like you're whispering to me when I'm listening to your songs.
Yeah, I think, I'm not a loud person in any way, shape, or form. And I always feel like, queens don't have to yell, they can whisper and still get their point across. So
I think he felt like you were whispering just
to him.
Yeah, I think that's what.
Yeah, I mean, my goal is to hopefully reach each person as much as I possibly can, and hopefully there's something in some of my lyrics that resonates with everybody, personally.
Well, speaking of that, if I put on headphones, and Sean, you would know the answer. I know you're the tech guy, man. And if Gwyn whispered a secret little message, is it something that could only be heard with headphones on in the middle of a song?
So there are things in our songs.
There's some Easter eggs.
Yes, that maybe you'd have to play it backwards and try really hard to hear it.
And so are you in the middle of creating something and then Uriel walks across all of your keyboard or something and it totally like messes up the song, but then you think, well, maybe I should leave that in there.
Yeah, he's good at playing keyboard.
Yeah, he loves to play my keyboard.
Yeah.
And he also loves to sharpen his claws on our rug while I'm singing, which is awesome.
Yeah. And I have a couple older amps that he really enjoys trying to dig through the grill of, and that's why I have a spray bottle. Like the computer right now is on our house. Our house is full of amps, and so right now our computer is sitting on a Marshall cab that's very special to me because I grew up listening to the band that used to own this, and it's all beat up. And so since there's strings and stuff hanging off, he's like always going for it. So like,
okay,
my experience with him is just shooing him away from my gear.
We've got Sean and Gwyn here from the band FRAYLE, great doom metal. And I was writing down some words when I was listening to your music, and I wrote down gypsy, post-metal, dark, moody, witch folk, and hypnotic. These are all words you've heard before, I know.
Sweet. We still like them.
Is there a time when, and this is kind of for you, Gwyn, is there a time when he is most creative, putting everything together, like maybe after a rainstorm, but it has to be in the middle of the night also?
No, he's just up there every bloody day. But I will say there was a period of like 2 days where he was making some magic up there, and I would run up and be like, that has to be on the next album. So I think that's a couple of the new songs that are on the next album that I think I've already recorded. anyway, that's a whole thing because I'm the one that holds things up because everything has to be perfect lyrically and you know, with
Well,
my performance.
Gwen, do you write the lyrics yourself?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you handle that side of it.
I write the melody, I write the lyrics. Yeah,
All right,
anything
gotcha.
that I do, I write it.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that make us exciting for me, at least, because if, you know, writing all the music and I have an idea that's, you know, from the 2000s about what the melody vocally should be, and then if we did that, it wouldn't be as exciting. So Gwen comes in, you know, from the ether and puts her melodies on top of it.
So in other words, she greatly improves upon maybe what you had initially.
Absolutely. I mean, without a doubt, this band would be, if it was up to me, it'd be way more boring.
The guitars are thick and heavy, and if you love doom, you have to check out FRAYLE. The website is frayleband.com, right? But then you've got Gwen's singing, which is you know, as light as air sometimes, and that combination just really works for me.
Oh, thank you. I think it's a very genuine approach because, like Sean said, he comes from like the hard rock metal kind of, you know, to early 2000s, and I come from like the goth Bauhaus, you know, Sisters of Mercy, and so those just kind of matched up, and this is what we get.
It works. It works. I really love what you're doing, and I know a lot of people do.
Oh, thank you.
Sean, you mentioned the band that owns the Marshall amp. So you got to tell us, who was that?
So when I was a wee lad back in the day, there's this band from Morgantown, West Virginia called Carmen to Burn. And it was really influential. Like I was 17, 18 going to see shows, and it was instrumental stoner rock, but it was like really energetic. And it just blew my mind. So I, you know, was really into that. And there was a local band I am getting into that we'd play shows with Carmen to Burn. It was Disengage. And we ended up getting on Man's Ruin and, you know, all these things. But so Carmen to Burn, very influential. And just out of nowhere, I sold a pedal to somebody online and we were chatting. And he was like, oh, I'm, you know, and I knew he was in West Virginia. He's like, I have Will from Carmen to Burn's guitar rig. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, hey, I bought it off him. I'm like, oh, can I buy it off you? Because, you know, I remember when I was 17, I'd go see shows with this thing. And so he was like, I don't know. And then the next day he was like, yeah, you can. So we went down to Morgantown a couple of weeks ago and bought a Marshall full stack. And I don't even play Marshalls. I play orange amps, but I wanted to have it. So
I know in one of the videos, I can see the orange behind you, and so yeah, that's why I was asking. So that's very cool, very good. Carmen to Burn.
We have an extra Marshall full stack in the house,
just in case.
Yeah.
Is Morgantown in Ohio?
No, West Virginia.
Oh, is it? Okay, so you went on a drive.
Yep.
Very good. So Gwen, 1692, obviously referring to the witch trial. So tell me, you know, the importance of this to you and some of your lyrics.
Sure. I think, well, the title track 1692 is written from the perspective of a witch awaiting her trial, and just feeling, you know, abandoned by her faith and abandoned, well, even though she's, you know, I think we lost you. No, there you are.
Yeah, just showing the website. Yep.
Okay. But to me, the album was supposed to be kind of like a safe haven to people who felt maybe a little pushed out, or people who felt not accepted. Darker Than Black is actually supposed to be kind of an anthem for people who felt like they didn't fit in or didn't belong. So that was the whole kind of feeling and theme behind the album.
I like what you're saying, very much so. And when I went to your Bandcamp page, let me see if it'll let us do it here. Are you seeing that now?
Yeah.
Okay. And I scroll down, I think it was on Ring of Fire, or it was on 1692. And I saw you mention this in an interview that you guys design clothes, and you actually have some templates there for designing your own face mask. Do I have that right?
Right. So Sean and I are both clothing developers. I have a website called hereticsunion.com where I design clothing.
Wait, Gwen, I'm sorry. So what is it again?
It's hereticsunion.com.
Cool.
And we, you know, when the whole pandemic started, we wanted to be able to do something to help. So Sean drafted up a mask design that you could put a filter inside. You can actually cut up a furnace filter. What kind of filter is it?
I think I don't remember the numbers, and this was before I think people there. You couldn't go to CVS and there weren't masks everywhere. You know, no one knew how they were going to get their hands on masks, so no one knew exactly what if you needed a heavy filter or whatever. So we just went for it and found this furnace filter that had a good filtration number to not let certain microns in. So we made a mask with like a pillowcase back that you could like cut furnace filters and put it in there. And we just wanted to make it easier for people to make it home because everyone was scared and freaking out. Like I said, you couldn't go to
they weren't available.
Yeah, they weren't at the grocery store, and there weren't stacks of them at the gas station like there are now, and with your picture on it or whatever. So this was early on, and our main client for our business is in the fire safety industry. So I'm around really nice, expensive, fancy fabrics, and that some of the first responders have access to. But I wanted to let the average civilian have access to that too. So the easiest way is to go to Home Depot, cut the furnace filter, put it in a mask that you can sew yourself.
Yeah, very cool. And so that template you sell on the Bandcamp page?
No, we just gave that away.
It's just yours. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me a little about your label. And I forget the name of the American label.
It's Aqualam in the US, and then Les Bear Recordings for Europe.
Okay. And so is Aqualam a doom label?
No, they're kind of everything.
They're kind of like just very things that are kind of on the fringe. They're definitely nothing mainstream. They like it's kind of whatever they like, but it's definitely geared more towards the artistic kind of feel, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah. Like kind of fringe, and what's anything that's pushing hard, they're into. And that hard, that doesn't mean like heavy, just pushing like the boundaries of whatever genre that they're into.
Gotcha. All right, cool. I'm part of Deep Ellum Radio and love that song Darker Than Black. So it definitely it reminds me of a lot of things I've heard, and yet it also doesn't. So I love playing it. It's a great song. So what I'd like to do is crank it right now. I'm going to crank it in the background, and if you don't mind, I might just share another video playing on the screen at the same time. Would that be okay?
Sure.
Yeah. All right. So bear with me a second here. I want to go to on your website, which is FRAYLEBand.com. You can pull up Press Kit, and it's got so many great interviews with you guys and videos. So I'm going to scroll down, and the one I liked was in the cornfield where all of a sudden there's your band. Is that Gods of No Faith or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I play this, it won't give us an audio track from this site while I'm doing it this way. I apologize, but then I'm going to crank Darker Than Black in the background. I hope that doesn't mess with our heads too much. Is that cool?
Yeah.
That's fine.
All right, let me crank this up so listeners and viewers can get an idea of Darker Than Black. I'm just kind of fading that out. Wow, Sean, I mean, are you ever creating something and it's just so thick, you think to yourself, you know, how am I going to replicate this on stage?
No,
No.
yeah. I don't worry about that so much. I just go for it.
Yeah, you just go for it all the way. I like that
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Those the orange Thunderbird that I play with, I mean, it's really a bass head. Like it's got bass transformer, so it can do anything I do recording. That thing can do live, so I don't worry about that.
And do you keep the wheels on it?
Wheels. Orange doesn't come with wheels.
Okay. All right. So when you're playing on stage, you can feel it with your feet.
Yeah. That's the whole point. Yeah, casters, wheels ruin amps.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I didn't know, but are you tempted then to sometimes just play barefoot?
No, stages are sticky. Like, I don't want to.
No one wants to see his feet.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, they're that way in Dallas too. So, if you're on a mini tour, you know, and you're heading this direction, you got to stay in touch with me because I will do everything I can to try and, you know, get you on a stage here in Dallas.
That'd be
Yeah,
great.
that'd be great.
Sean, we were talking earlier and you mentioned you toured briefly a while back with Electric Wizard.
Yeah.
Part of their tour in America a while back.
A long while back. Yes.
So you've kind of always been into this super heavy sound.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was into. Like I started when I was really little, well, high school. Like I was into like pop punk and like a more aggressive pop punk. But then, you know, I saw this, you know, bands like Carmen to Burn, and then I got into Caius and Quicksand, and it kind of changed everything for me. And I, you know, never really looked back. You know.
Yeah, cool. When I was playing that song real loud, did it sound okay? Could you hear it okay?
You can hear it.
All right. Yeah, and I know that didn't work with the video, and I know you've got that big, you know, come in with the guitar right on that video. So I just encourage people to go to FRAYLEBand.com, and then from there you can link to Bandcamp, and if you what is it? If you order vinyl, you'll send out the template for making the mask.
No, you can just go on our website and download that
it
whenever you want.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you. Okay. So we had a question here from the chat room, and I think it was from Shanna. So she wanted to buy the mask, but what we were talking about is a download for a template for making one yourself at home.
Right.
Shanna, and I'll help you find that, but it's start at FRAYLEBand.com. Remember, Frayle has a Y in there. And the other things I've read in your interviews, Gwen, is that at first you were shy about singing.
Oh yeah, very much so.
But you're a new person now, aren't you?
I think after dozens of shows, yeah, like I feel bad for the people who are at our first few shows, because I told Sean, I was like, I feel like my first several shows I spent more time trying to hide than just trying to emote and you know, just enjoy it. So in general, I would say I'm a relatively shy person. I'm usually hiding, but after getting through, I guess, the first year of, you know, playing live, then you kind of relax into it a little bit more. But yeah, the first several shows, I was horrible. They were great. I was forget about it.
Yeah, but let's use this as maybe a message to aspiring newcomers or new bands or young singers, right? Is, hey, you might go through a short phase where, as you said, you were trying to hide. If a singer of a dark doom band is drifting to the back of the stage, I kind of think, hey, that's what this band is about. It's not about a lead person. It's about all as an atmosphere coming at you.
Right, for sure. I just think, you know, if anybody's out there and they want to sing, but they're painfully shy like me, just, you know, work through it, because like I always say, on the other side of that fear are great things. So just push through.
The visuals are a big part of this band, aren't they?
They're really important to me. to me, I wanted to create like a whole package as opposed to just putting music out there. And you know, I guess that's, you know, the Gothic side, you know, where I came from. The aesthetic was important as well. And the music was always the most important thing, but you know, the aesthetic maybe drew you in, or was something interesting to look at while, you know, you were listening to the music. So for me, it's important. I don't know. I know Sean is, you know, he, again, on the technical side, I come up with an idea and he's the one who has to figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it too. I think that Instagram and YouTube it's another way to communicate with people and access, you know, people that are hungry for what you have to offer, you know. So we try to make all the visuals, whether it's photographs or videos, you know, have as much impact as possible, and the same way that our music does. So I think they go hand in hand. And I think that you have, you know, as a band, you have these platforms, like, use them, you know. But it's hard sometimes. It's, you know, especially for a lot of hard rock guys, like, to figure out, what do we have to say visually? Like, I don't know, you know, like, what do you have to say? And it took us a long time. We're still figuring out what we want to say visually. But you only get there by showing up all the time and doing it. So, you know, for every photo that we put out that's good, there's 100 that are terrible. You know, like we set up.
No, but there's a lot of good. There's a lot of good photographs. I mean, just looking at your Facebook page, people go to FRAYLE on Facebook, and there's some wonderful pictures in there.
Thanks.
But like, yeah, like Sean said, for every one, like literally we could shoot for, you know, a long time and just hundreds and hundreds of photos, and then we pick one or two, and then of those one or two we choose, we'll show one.
Yeah, or sometimes none. Like, we've done whole video shoots where we never
use anything.
We just scrapped it. We were like, we're not feeling it. Yeah.
That one video we just showed where you're walking slowly, Gwyn, and that long black, you know, veil, and it's just wonderful. And so, are there any memories that come to mind, forefront of your mind, about shooting that video that were either I don't know, funny or off the rails?
Well, that's Frank from Filter sitting in the chair all tied up. It was his cousin's land, and so he let us, you know, shoot there. It was really awesome. But I don't know, was there anything?
Well, for a second I thought that was Sean, but it's not, is it? Okay.
No, that's our friend Frank Kavanaugh. He played bass in Filter. He's actually in FRAYLE for a little bit, but then we went to Europe, and he couldn't make it to Europe, so we got another guy, Eric, and then Eric just ended up being in the band. And so we still try to do whatever we can with Frank. So he's he had him. Yeah, he's awesome. So he had a cornfield, so we went out and shot a video.
Was that in Ohio?
Yeah.
Very cool. The you mentioned Europe, and you guys formed really about 2019, right?
2018.
18. And then went to Europe in 2019 for a couple of Doom festivals?
No, that was also 18, I think. It was it was pretty quick. Yeah. Like we put out thing on Bandcamp, and within a week we had a label in Europe, and she was like, we're putting you on festivals. We had never even played a show. And so
well,
we worked it together.
This is fantastic. So give hope to young bands. You guys, you know, I read the interview. I think you wrote that you went to sleep, you woke up the next morning, and then you're like, holy shit, people are loving our music. And there was a lot of interest, a lot of likes, or a lot of views, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Our goal was just to sell one album a month to pay for the band, to pay for the Bandcamp page. And just kind of, it really kind of blew us away, and was very humbling that people actually liked it. And, you know, because we just did this, we thought we want to do something together, and this is kind of fun. He made me sing. No lie, he made me sing.
Still making her sing.
Yeah. But it was just like something for us to do, and you know, we just put it out there just to see, and it's good.
So what was it like being on stage at a festival in Europe, and you're a new young band, and you're like, oh, what, like, wow.
So as far as the band goes, like, I immediately called people that I have known for a long time, musicians in Cleveland, that I knew that we could, nailed the first time. So Pat, our drummer, played with him before. Eric, our bass player, who's really a drummer and a guitar player. And then, if you play guitar, you can play bass. So they agreed to be in it and, go to Europe. So the music side, we felt pretty good about. But Gwyn, that was, I think, 4th or 5th show ever that she's ever done was, a sold out festival in Europe.
I was scared shitless.
And this was great. Because she sings so quiet, they can't get enough vocals in the monitors. And as a band, we play pretty quiet too. She has a decibel meter. She won't let us get too loud. But anyway, so she's got in-ears that only hook into her own little, she lives in her own little ecosystem. So she just sings to herself pretty much. And they got stuck on something. So we went out on stage and we're making a little bit of noise and Gwen's stuck. And it looked like she did that on purpose, like the singer made the grand entrance, but really she was just stuck on something. So while she was stuck, people started chanting her name, but in a, we were in the Netherlands, Nijmegen. And so people were going, Gwyn, Gwyn, Gwyn. And it was crazy. So it seemed like she did it on purpose and she had it all figured out, but really she was stuck.
Well, Gwyn, when you figured that out, how did you feel?
Blown away, but also a lot of pressure. But I was just like, oh my God, what is happening? And just it melted my cold, dark little heart for a minute,
So I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, but I think mostly it was just fear overriding everything else.
So they're saying Gwyn or something like that, sort of a Dutch pronunciation, right? Mm-hmm. And did you realize they were calling your name?
Well, I heard one girl scream it, and that was like, oh, hi, I don't know who you are, and I want to know who you are. So it was kind of, like I said, it was humbling and an amazing moment that I'll never forget. But again, just scared shitless, just over top of everything.
And so what did it feel like when you finished the set?
Well, after we finished, I think some people came up and started talking, and so I just wanted to make sure I engaged with everybody that that was talking, wanted to talk to me. I want to talk to you, so it was just kind of a wave of relief that it was over, like a huge wave of relief, and making sure that anybody that was there, I got to talk to them.
And then did you follow that with another festival in Europe? Yeah.
So like a week later or something like that in Belgium.
Antwerp, right? Yeah, in Antwerp.
Wow. Yeah. Did you stay overseas or come back between?
Yeah, we stayed. We tried to book shows, but because we were so new, no one had heard of us, so getting club dates was kind of tough last minute. And Europe books a year out, and so we were way ahead of that. We didn't have time to book it. So somehow, Pat, the drummer in our band, his dad's friend owns a mansion in Normandy on the water in France.
Whoa! Now let's just pause for a moment to take that in.
Yeah, it was.
You happen to be over, and so in France, your drummer's dad's friend owns a castle mansion.
Not a castle, but
definitely a mansion.
Yeah.
And I thought, they're exaggerating, but no, it was a mansion.
Yeah.
7 bedrooms.
It was the stuff.
Yeah.
It was great.
It was amazing.
And okay, go ahead.
We were there for a week.
Yeah.
And so Pat's dad and Pat's wife came, and Eric was there. And so they had never been to Paris before, so they went to Paris. And Gwen and I were going to see World War II stuff, all through Normandy. And then it was great. We were just being,
it was amazing.
Yeah, lazy tourists for 5 days in this, normally I think it's maybe a beach town in northern France, but it was October, so it was shut down, but it was still awesome, just the history to be there and everything. And then we played Antwerp, and then Gwen and I actually stayed a couple days later in where were we? What's that?
Oh, I'm blanking.
Where's the weed? Amsterdam.
Okay.
So
Where's the weed?
In Amsterdam for a couple days after that, and then all I wanted to do was watch World War II movies because it's just
yes. This makes me think of a funny movie, and this is the totally off topic here, but there's this European movie. It's actually from Finland called Heavy Trip, and it's about a singer of a metal band who is too nervous to sing and gets super, super nervous and can't really sing their first few gigs. So, Gwen, I'm just saying it's a funny movie about a metal band trying to make it. And
Right.
so I recommend that to you.
I'll definitely have to. What's it
Yeah.
called again?
Heavy Trip.
Heavy Trip. All right, definitely gonna have to watch
I'm gonna
that.
write that
Yeah.
down right now in my notes.
Yeah, and you can find it on Amazon or Netflix pretty easily.
Oh, all right, yeah, definitely.
I think you would like it. It's a comedy, but I like movies about metal bands that have challenges, and don't they have challenges?
Ooh.
Right?
Oh gosh, yeah, yeah.
So you've got your passports updated probably, and you want to go back and play some more festivals, hopefully this year, next year.
So we have a booking agency in Europe now, and they had booked 2 weeks in the fall, like right around Halloween. And we're also booking the same tour in the spring as a backup. And the way it looks now, I think mainly because of how backed up vinyl pressing is, that they're booked, like backed up at least 6 months. So we want to have a record come out and then be in Europe like within a couple of weeks after that. So now it's looking more like we'll be there in like a year from now in spring.
Okay, spring of 22. But are you talking about 1692 being pressed as vinyl? No.
No, that's already been out.
Yeah.
So
Sean's been upstairs.
Yes, he's been busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all of 2020. What was he doing? He was upstairs making a new record.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually making a couple of new records.
Yeah.
Well, release a double vinyl.
Right.
Oh yeah, we have something up our sleeve.
Yeah.
So
What? Let me see your sleeves. What do you got?
these are just 20-year-old tattoos. Nothing cool there, but when we release it, it's definitely gonna be I think a unique take on what you can do with a physical release and streaming. And then we have a couple of things that we're gonna do before that. Like we have a little live EP coming out in the next probably month, and then we're working on this remix EP,
Mhm.
and then we're gonna start doing some new Frayle stuff.
Well, I'm sorry. You said a remix EP.
Yep.
Excellent. So now, does this mean sort of like dance industrial? A club DJ can play Frayle?
It's not 4 on the floor. It's definitely gothy industrial,
Mhm.
but it's not. No one's gonna be partying. Well, maybe they're gonna be partying, just slowly, like painfully slowly
partying.
dancing.
Hey, slow's okay.
Yeah.
And what did you say? The other one is an EP also?
It's a
live.
Yeah.
Okay, so where was that recorded? At the festival?
No, back in December we did 3 songs that we like took a video of, and actually you can see it on YouTube right now in this abandoned funeral home / hospital that's in Cleveland. Well, it's not abandoned. They're in the process of restoring it, but in the spookiest way possible. So it's an amazing space, and definitely probably I want to say haunted.
Yeah, a lot of weird things were happening while we were there. Like
All right.
turning off batteries running out that were just charged.
Yeah, and there's a lot online about the place. It's called House of Wills, and you can go look it up. And there's a lot of ghost hunters that have been there, like running around, freaking out.
What? I'm sorry. In what city again, please?
It's in Cleveland.
Okay.
House of Wills in Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes, and you've also got that cool witch museum.
Buckland.
Buckland.
Yeah, Buckland. Yeah, Buckland. That's is that Cleveland or?
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, Buckland is amazing. Stephen Intermill, who runs that, like, great dude. Actually, the chain mask from our first EP that Gwen wore is on display in that museum.
That's outstanding. I love that. I love that picture.
Yeah, that was
So when you perform live next, Gwen, are you going to like hesitate on the side of the stage and wait till everyone starts calling your name?
No, I'm not that girl. But I think just practice makes perfect, and the more you do something, the better you feel about it. So I think I'm past my initial stage fright. Although you still get nervous, but
And isn't that a life lesson right there? You know, if we can just sort of focus on that for a minute. I mean, anybody doing anything, you're going to not be so great at first, but look at where you are now, and time will get you there, and it's moving fast these days.
For sure. Just keep at it.
Show up.
Yeah, show up.
Keep showing up.
You know what? That's 95% of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know, speaking of that, Richard Nettleton commented that Texas is 100% open on Wednesday, officially on Wednesday the 10th. All venues will allow 100% capacity, but the actual location can still have their own private restrictions. And so he wrote, "Come on down." And then my other friend wrote, "It sounds like the kind of music you chill and get stoned to." LOL.
Don't know anything about that.
Yeah. What is that like?
So I prefer calling you witch rock, and I know a lot of people will call you stoner rock and doom metal and all that. But man, it just works for me, and I think your maybe minimalistic is not the right word for your vocals, Gwen, but the way that they're ethereal, and I know you've heard this word a million times, hypnotic, you know, but they are, and that really helps me escape from reality. And you have to crank this music up super loud. I know my neighbors are angry at me, you know, for playing FRAYLE.
Our neighbor wants us to turn it up when we practice or when we do anything. He's like, "No, we can't hear it. You can turn it up a little bit more."
Yeah, so there you go. Now, you had mentioned when you were playing the festival, it was October. What was the weather like in or near Amsterdam at that time of year?
I mean, it was chilly, but it wasn't horrible. You know, it was just fall weather. It wasn't bad at all.
Were you performing outdoors?
No, it was all
Okay.
indoor.
Okay, gotcha. Sometimes, you know, I think to myself, all festivals are outdoors. You know,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Europe is like a different level as far as venues. Like they make, like, America's got House of Blues, which is, you know, if you do a House of Blues tour, it's everything's pretty pro. But Europe is another level. Like the one club that we played in Nijmegen, the first festival, they have a thing where you can pull your bus with a trailer, unload it, and then this thing picks up your bus and turns your bus around so you can drive back out the same way.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane.
Yeah, did they used to have those for the trains, you know?
That's yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But this is for rock and roll.
Yeah.
A Lazy Susan on your table
Yeah, it's for a tour bus.
for a tour bus. That is cool. Well, I hope that you soon will have a big ass tour bus yourself that says FRAYLE on it. And you've got you guys and your other 3 band members, and you're touring the nation. I just wish all the best to you for 1692 and the new secret release that Sean is not telling us about.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
I really appreciate you guys being on the show, and I will send you a recording of this too, and then you can, you know, do what you want with it. And I can send you an actual link with that the actual full show.
Okay, yeah, we'll post it on Tube.
Yeah, cool. Really appreciate you guys a lot, and all the best to FRAYLE. And I just encourage viewers and listeners to find you on Bandcamp, order the material, and if you're definitely into witch rock and occult metal, this is right up your alley. So thanks a lot, you guys. I really love you.
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Really appreciate it. I'm double checking here. One more thing, if there's any other comments. No, I think we've covered them. All right. Thank you much.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye now.